You're laughing. Someone says something hilarious right as you take a sip, and for one terrifying fraction of a second, your body has a problem. Something went down the wrong way. We've all been there, and we all survived. But why does it happen at all? Because buried inside your throat is one of the most elegant and most precarious pieces of engineering in the human body. A single junction where two of your most critical systems share the same road. One throat, two systems. Why breathing and swallowing can never happen at the same time. Your throat is a crossroads. At the back of your mouth, two separate tubes begin. The trachea, which carries air to your lungs, and the esophagus, which carries food and liquid to your stomach. The trachea sits at the front. The esophagus sits just behind it. And for most of the time, they operate in clean, separate silence. But there's a catch. Both tubes share the same entrance. Every single thing that enters your mouth, air, water, food, everything, arrives at the same junction before it has to decide which way to go. And managing that junction, making sure air goes one way and everything else goes another, is the job of a small leaf-shaped flap of cartilage called the epiglottis. The epiglottis is one of the most underappreciated structures in your entire body. When you breathe, it sits open, like a raised drawbridge, letting air flow freely down into the lungs. But the moment you swallow, everything changes. In the fraction of a second it takes to swallow, your body executes a remarkably coordinated sequence. Your tongue pushes food backward. Your soft palate rises to seal off your nasal cavity. Your larynx, your voice box, lifts upward, and the epiglottis folds down, slamming shut over the trachea like a security door. The airway is sealed. The food takes the only open path, into the esophagus. The whole sequence takes less than a second, and critically, breathing stops completely for its entire duration. You cannot breathe and swallow simultaneously because the epiglottis physically cannot be in two positions at once. Open means breathing, closed means swallowing, never both, never at the same time. Here's where it gets interesting. Most animals don't have this problem. Cats, dogs, horses, most non-human mammals can breathe and swallow at the same time because their larynx sits much higher in the throat, allowing air and food to use genuinely separate channels simultaneously. In humans, the larynx descended much lower in the throat, a change that happened over millions of years of evolution, and that descent created the shared junction we have today. Why did it happen? Because a lower larynx dramatically expanded the range of sounds the human vocal tract could produce. It gave us the physical architecture for complex speech, the vowels, the consonants, the tonal range that makes human language possible. The trade-off was worth it, evolutionarily speaking, but it made humans uniquely vulnerable to choking in a way that almost no other animal is. Every meal you eat is technically a mild negotiation between two of your most essential biological systems. So, what goes wrong when something goes down the wrong way? The epiglottis didn't close fast enough, usually because you were talking, laughing, or breathing at exactly the wrong moment. All things that require the epiglottis to be open. The cough reflex, which triggers immediately and involuntarily, is your body's emergency override. A violent, explosive burst of air designed to eject the intruder before it reaches the lungs. It works almost every time. The fact that you've experienced this and are watching this video is proof that your epiglottis has an excellent track record. Understanding this anatomy actually has practical value. First, don't talk with your mouth full. Not etiquette. Physics. Speaking requires an open airway. Swallowing requires a closed one. Doing both at once puts you in epiglottis conflict. Second, eat slowly. Rushing forces the swallowing sequence to compress, increasing the chance of mistiming. Your epiglottis needs its half second. Third, if you're ever helping someone who is choking, the Heimlich maneuver works by forcing air upward from the lungs with sudden abdominal pressure, using your own respiratory system as the ejector. It's the manual override for what your cough reflex does automatically. Your throat is managing one of the body's most delicate engineering compromises, thousands of times a day without you ever thinking about it, until now.